chapter 5, verse 22. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so, wives, submit to your husbands. All right, close it now. There you go. That's today's lesson. Oh, I'm on. Hey. So, all right. Now we're going to. I forgot I'm being recorded. So we're being recorded, man. Yeah. So I want to break off, and I want husbands. You share with your wives how they are not submitting to you. Okay?
Because you're live on video right now, getting recorded. Just saying.
Oh man. Okay. Here, let's continue to read this one. Okay. All right. Somebody read verses 23 and 24 for us. Out loud.
For the husband is the head of the wife, even as Christ is the head of the church, his body, and is himself its Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives should submit in everything to their husbands.
Somebody pick up 25 through 27.
Husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for her. He might sanctify her, having cleansed her by the washing of water with the word, so that he might present the church to himself in splendor, without spot or wrinkle or any such thing, that she might be holy and without blemish.
And somebody pick up and read 28 through 30.
So husbands ought also to love their own wives as their own bodies. He who loves his own wife loves himself. For no one ever hated his own flesh, but nourishes and cherishes it, just as Christ also does the church, because we are members of his body.
Somebody go 31 through 33.
For this reason, a man will leave his father and mother and be joined to his wife, and the two will become one flesh. The mystery is profound, but I'm talking about Christ and the church. To sum up, each one of you is to love his wife as himself, and the wife is to respect her husband.
All right. So listen, if you were to pick out one key word that husbands are supposed to do in relationship to their wives, other than lord over so they can submit, which is not really in there. The submit is, but not the lord over. What's the one key word that's commanded for husbands to do? Love. Okay. And as the Paul wraps up this passage, he says, however, each one of you also must do what? Love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must what? Respect her husband. So, listen, I would say of all the couples that I have counseled or given counsel or that I've encountered who's had marriage issues and such, I would say that probably 100% are violating these two things. You can just tell it. And you can actually, a while back, I don't know if it was last year or whatever, I did a little bit on what I call Marriage 2.0. But the reason is because back when we were a young class, back when y'all were younger, we looked and you still had little stars in your eyes toward each other and stuff. And now,
You've had kids.
And
you parent differently.
Yeah, well, that's just part of it. The other part is that he still wants all your attention, wives.
While you parent.
And so, yeah. And you just want what? You want to break.
You want to be left alone.
That's right. I'm sure it's a good move to invite her up here with her mother right now. She's a bit emotionally unstable. And so, but I must
At least
love
I
her.
can remember that I like you.
That's right. You're good. You do remember that. Okay, good. We're actually going through a bit like when you have somebody dependent upon you, wives especially, you feel it more than your husbands. Actually, while empty nesters are supposed to be back in their honeymoon phase, since we have
We're really not
Becky's
empty nesters.
mother.
Don't tell anybody but our
but
No, we love them.
yes, but also Becky's
And they
mother.
buy great cookies from Trader Joe's. It's a good bribe.
But Becky's mother we moved her to assisted living, and she doesn't want to get out of bed for them, get dressed for them, take her medicine for them, eat for them,
do anything.
go to the bathroom for them or go to bed
Kinda
for
like
them.
two, you know?
And
Yeah.
so they have gotten Becky's telephone number now. And so they now call her up several times a day, like yesterday.
Your mama doesn't want to eat breakfast.
Because they know that she'll do some stuff for Becky. So they'll say,
So
"Can you
Matthew
do-"
was my savior yesterday. Here I am. I finally get to go to a Dogs game, right? They gave us the 50-yard line ticket. They are amazing. Thank you, church, for giving us that. It was very hot, but it was very fun. And so I called Matthew and I said, Matthew, will you please go take care of Grandma? So he and Reese went over there and he took care of his grandma.
Got her
So
medicine.
I appreciate that a lot.
Got her to lunch. Anyway, so there's this pull that happens in your relationship, and the dynamics change. And meanwhile, the financial pressures as your kids get a little bit older, they're increasing. The husband in particular feels the pressure for that. Not that the wife doesn't, because oftentimes, how many of y'all wives do the finances in your homes? Let's see your hands. Okay, would you say that's at least 50%? Usually, I think, what's the stats? Dave Ramsey says maybe 70% of women do finances. And so we found also what happens is that creates additional pressure on our wives because they feel it, they see it, they account. And then husbands don't spend frequently, but when they do spend, it's big items, which sets you back.
Ooh, I see some head nods. Those shoes didn't cost as much as the car did they?
Yeah, women's shoes are a little bit cheaper. But then what happens is, like, our wives want to maybe get clothes or something, and like husbands didn't figure that in the budget. Because, like, can't you just wear the same thing for another season? Like,
we did our first budget thing, you know, and he couldn't figure out how much of a piece of a pie could go to Walmart. I'm like,
that just became a separate
really?
budget item.
And then the clothing budget.
After I asked her to itemize everything she bought at
I said,
Walmart,
right,
so I
Mom,
could put it in the right
can you wait just a
category.
minute? I'm writing down diapers, formula. But then he left out, he said I could have like $30 for clothes. Thank you. Half a shirt once every 3 months. That's all you need.
And then, after you spend everything, then you still have to get like groceries, food, type stuff too. Not to mention, as your kids get in school, there becomes being additional costs, right? And then you're thinking, and I'm supposed to be saving right now for retirement and for college.
And I'm playing for
And like-
baseball and
Yeah, all this other
cheerleading
stuff.
and.
Yeah, it's like, how are we ever going to get there? So anyway, so the Eggerichs, this is a book, and if you want to also get the book, it's a great study as well. But the next couple of weeks, we're going to kind of go over wives. What does it look like? How you show respect to your husbands. Husbands, what does it look like? How you show your wife, how you love them the right way. Okay? Because what happens is you get into this crazy cycle, and everybody has been in the crazy cycle. Becky and I have been in the crazy cycle. You've been in the crazy cycle. And what the crazy cycle is, yeah, a lot of us just live there. That's normal for us. But what the crazy cycle is like it goes like this, and is that well, here, let me tell you what the healthy cycle is. The healthy cycle, the good one, is where basically he loves her, and because she feels loved, then she respects him. And this makes for a happy family. And this is the way you're supposed to live, right? The only problem is, if she does not feel loved, then she really does not feel like respecting him. And then if he doesn't feel like she respects him, he doesn't feel like, well, thank you. I thought it wasn't an appropriate time for laughter, but I mean, it was close.
I told him not to do it.
Oh, that's you. I thought that her iPad went off on some video or something.
That was a
Oh,
crazy
that's
train.
crazy.
Train.
Crazy train. Thank you. Thank you.
I thought the room was blowing up, okay?
So, if you get on the crazy cycle, it means you're going down the funnel. And something's got to give. And this is oftentimes when you finally seek counseling or you don't and things get worse. Because somebody's got to break the crazy cycle. Somebody, even though they don't feel love, they still have to respect the husband. And then even though he doesn't feel respected, he still must love his wife. These are commands from the Scripture, is that they're commands to do it. Not if you feel like it, but you are to do it regardless. Some of you had 1 Corinthians 13 read at your wedding, right? The definition of agape love is that whole list of stuff that's read. It means that it doesn't matter what happens, you're still going to love. Regardless of how she's treating you today, you're still going to love. But it is only through the power of the Holy Spirit. That is the only way a marriage can make it. Through the crazy cycle, because you don't have it in yourself to quit reacting to not feeling loved or not feeling respected. You don't have it within yourself to stop the crazy cycle and to still love her even though you don't feel respected. That's the deal. So what I want to do is, as we go through this, Anna?
I have a question.
Yes.
I don't want to interrupt you.
No, go for it.
Okay. And you might get on this later in
Yes.
the next few weeks. And I'm not talking about my husband.
Of
first.
course
No,
not.
we're not.
Any comments you make,
Everybody else.
is not about your
Yeah.
spouse, right?
Our
no,
marriage is
we got it.
fantastic.
Yes, exactly.
So anyways,
Right. Everybody's is.
My mom and I have discussed this for years, but what do you do? And the answer is always Jesus. But
Yeah.
what do you do
Such
if
a-
the husband, since we're supposed to respect them,
Yes.
makes decisions that aren't respectable?
Okay, we're going to talk about that.
Okay.
But that's good to tee it up now,
Okay.
so that I'm sure that we hit that and get through it.
Okay.
Good question. Good question. Okay, well here's what we're going to do, is we're going to take this handy dandy sheet that you've been given, and we're going to start with husbands, love your wives, and we're going to look at one, and then we're going to turn to the other side. Instead of beating up one of you today and then beating up the other next week, it's not beating up.
No, it's not.
If you think of the great and many of the...
It only feels like it because it feels like things you need to do in your life to
Yeah.
help your marriage,
Yeah.
but it's not beating you up.
Like as we go
It's
through
helping you
this,
grow.
I'll see things that I violated yesterday or today.
No, you do grow.
Yeah. So let's talk about how husbands love your wives, okay? First area is closeness. And let me walk through some of these. I'm not going to read them verbatim, but I am going, well, we may. Let's look at the first three. You hold her hand, you hug her, and you are affectionate without sexual intentions. Okay, let's stop there. So, now's the time for the laughter. Because what happens is, she wants your affection without expectations. Now, this leads usually to other conversations of how the differences between men and women, because God made our sex drives different. Okay? One of us is a crock pot and the other is a microwave. Can you guess which one is the microwave? That would be your husband. That means that at the drop of a hat, he can turn from whatever he's doing and be a sexual predator. James Bond.
James Bond.
James Bond.
He's tired when you go up to bed, right?
He may be sitting there looking on his phone. He may be playing with his phone and not paying you any attention, but after you get the kids to bed, he can set the phone down.
And all of a sudden he comes over to your side of the couch.
He can be very debonair.
And you're
Yes.
like, the kids are down. No, there.
Yes. So here's a good challenge, husbands. Have any of you husbands, you don't have to show your hands. Have you ever tried, because this is a really good challenge. If you want a challenge in self-discipline, David, this is like military stuff, okay? It's like, okay, I am going to be affectionate to my wife today without expecting it to end up with sex. Exactly. Well, just try it. You gotta try it, okay? You gotta try it. Now, I've found the first thing they do is they will accuse you of having motives. That happens.
I don't know who would do that.
But, I mean, you have to assure her that you do not have motives. It's not your motives at hand. And now here's the deal. You have to pray through this, guys, because you have to have God to control you to do this, okay? But you must do it.
Pull the God card.
But holding her hand is a good one, like even in public. Because when you hold her hand like in public, you know that she can't stop and go to bed at that time. So, I mean, there's nothing behind that.
I don't know.
You don't know. Well, some, yeah, okay, it depends. But what you got to do is it's the affection without feeling like she's feeling manipulated to just once again have a sexual encounter with you. And I know it's been a long time, especially you who have kids and preschoolers, not as frequently as it used to be. And wives, you must understand that there actually is a physiological thing going on in your husband. Okay? And so that actually drives that. It's not that he's just lost his head or crazy or something. This is the way God created people for whatever reason. Okay? So, let me hit the fourth bullet there. One of the reasons that your wife picked you was because you could laugh together. You could laugh together. And one of the things that I've found that adulting brings on, especially parenting adulting, brings on a heavy responsibility. Both of you. But I've seen husbands go from being fun to being very serious. And your wife has enough serious stuff going on in the day. She needs you to be her knight in shining armor. She needs you to be able to rise above all the junk and all the pressures and to bring an element of fun, friendship, closeness to the marriage. And then other ideas, you can go on walks together and stuff, but here's one is you seek her out, set up a date night, eat by candlelight. In other words, one other reason that she fell for you is because you pursued her during the time of dating and stuff. You pursued her and you impressed her for whatever reason. You ever see husband and wife and it's like, how'd they ever get together? It's like during that time of dating, like Josh, it's like during that time of dating, he's pointing to himself, It's like during the time of dating, he turned up, he turned it on. And like, he was impressive back in the day. And so, and then what happened? I don't know. What happened, Josh? I don't know, I know. But it happens, it's gradual. So listen, husbands, you've got to turn it up a little bit. You've got to pursue her. She wants to feel like your wife and like you really, she's not just the mother of your children, from whom you expect sex. That's what she feels like oftentimes, is that she's there to mother your children and to keep the house together and to have sex. So you've got to help her understand that is not it, okay? That you got to go beyond that. So pursue her, do fun things with her.
Listen to her when she wants to talk about Pinterest or all those plans she has for the house. Listen to her. Don't blow her off. Put down the ESPN app. Turn the football game off. And just talk. That helps your wife feel close to you.
Well, you got to prioritize her. And that's kind of the next. You go out of your way to do something for her. It's a priority to spend time with her. So she needs to see that she is the priority in your life, other than
Offer
the Lord.
to go to Hobby Lobby with her. With your credit card. Good date.
I did learn how to enjoy antique stores. I'll
Yes,
say
you
that.
did.
And then we follow that with a good barbecue place, which she has learned to enjoy.
That's
I
a
think
fun
she
time for
is.
us. Yeah, we
Yeah.
enjoy that.
Yeah. There are things I look for. Yeah. So, let's see. You've got to be aware of her as a person. Like, she still has a mind, and she still has opinions.
I'm sorry. I think I have one right now.
And let her know that you enjoy discussing things with her, things other than just the kids or your work. I mean, you enjoy discussing things with her. You're treating her as a person. And now here's a really good one that the Eggerichs put in that I didn't make up. The last bullet there is you pillow talk after making love. Instead of picking up your phone or your iPad or turning on the TV or just laying there moaning, groaning like you're dead. Okay? Just saying, you've learned to be more open over the years. Back when I was teaching my own age group.
This is going too far.
Back when we were teaching our own age group, it was very difficult to be open about matters like this.
My son is still in this class.
I know.
I don't care what he says, okay?
Well,
No picking
Matthew.
I'll just keep this up between us, okay?
Well, the stork brought Matthew.
We found him at Cabbage Patch Taylor?
Yes, we did. So, okay, so listen, and the last thing on here is that closeness, in her, closeness begins like at the beginning of the day. Like sometimes you wonder at the end of the day why she doesn't want to be close. Your definition of close is probably a little bit different than hers. But she has to feel emotionally close to you to feel physically close. If she doesn't feel like you've been on the same page all day, then guess what? She feels distance from you, and so that's the deal. So it's how you wake up. It's the tone of speech you use with her. It's how you tell her goodbye in the morning. It's how you talk to her, text her during the day.
Yeah, and y'all have a disadvantage because texting can be rampant. And some women are like quick on their fingers. And that doesn't mean that if your husband doesn't answer right away. You know, we have to remember people are at work and they can't answer right away. But the times that you do reach out, make sure that your spouse knows that you care.
Yeah.
You know, I don't expect you to be having this long text all day. I love you. I hope you have a great day.
I mean, you gotta get some work done and stuff, right?
Because when we were first married, I mean, there was a phone, a landline, a rotary,
Crazy.
So,
yeah.
you
Hey,
can do that.
let's look quickly at wives. The first part of respecting your husband is relationship. And let's talk about a lot shorter list. Actually, guys are pretty simple. Guys are very simple, actually. Very simple. Now, you can cut this down to maybe 2 points. Probably. I'm not going to say what they are. So, let's talk about a relationship.
Want to guess?
Well, just like he used to be the laugh meister of your home, and he's lost a little bit of that. He's become more serious. He will lighten up on occasion. You used to do things with him, like things like that, going to watch him do something. Did any of y'all ever watch your husband do yard work or anything? Did y'all ever do that?
In my lounge chair.
Yes. It doesn't matter.
That, and it's okay. They feel very
They don't care if
out
you're
there,
in your lounge chair or whatever. They just really think that you're validating them when you're just doing and here's the difference. It's called shoulder-to-shoulder time. So this is a big one. Women require face-to-face time, and we'll talk more about what that looks like to women in a minute. They require face-to-face time. Guys, don't sit down, ladies, with your husband face-to-face and just...
How are you feeling today? How was your day?
Yeah, it's like... Yeah.
You won't get anything out of it.
And so,
if I go outside and I go for a walk with Marty, or I watch him do yard work, or we're doing something, or we go to Home Depot. And then when he starts talking about his day and what he did, and those are times that are really good.
Guys open up shoulder to shoulder. You don't even see the other person. That's when they open up the best.
Mm-hmm.
Like when Becky would have this, and she'd say, "Well, what are you feeling?" Like, I don't know.
What feeling is. He really did.
Know what I'm feeling, really. And then she'd get mad because it's like I wasn't opening up with her. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Who was it? Somebody in our class that moved. they said that, there's this little room that guys like to go in, and it's their room. Remember that story? And they just go in there and they sit. We just sit. And so, so it bugs the wife because she wants to know what's in the room.
She wants to know what's in the room, and then she wants to go in and redecorate the room.
Yeah.
And he's happy with it being just...
He's just fine. He's in this room.
And we'll never understand.
It's like, what are you thinking about? Nothing. Well, you are? No. I don't think. I mean, I have analyzed myself over the years many times. And I said, Lord, what's wrong with me? I don't understand what I'm feeling. I mean, so what? Help me understand what I'm feeling right now. I'm feeling confused. I mean, this doesn't take a whole lot.
Feeling like I wish Becky would quit asking me these questions.
I know. So
I was okay until she came in the room.
Because listen, he needs to know that you like him. He knows you love him. In fact, I get so tired of picking out cards for Becky. It's Mother's Day, birthday, whatever. Because the guys' cards, I don't know how women's cards start out, but all the guys' cards say, I know I don't ever tell you I love you, but I love you. It's like, well, what about if I do tell her I love her? Well, I can't, a lot of guys must never say I love you because this card always says, never tell you I love you. Well, the reason is we married him, right? They know we love him, don't they? I mean, we wouldn't have married him if we didn't love him, right? We live with him. I mean, we love him. So, yeah, okay, I'll tell you 10 times I love you, love you, love you. You ought to know I love you. So they understand that, and then they tell us, I love you. Yeah, I know that. But the deal is, do you like us? Sometimes we know you love us, we don't know if you like us right now. That's the deal. So, do things that communicate that you still like us, So tell us you like us. When you hang around with us, shoulder to shoulder, do those kind of things. Enable us to open up and just talk when we're doing shoulder to shoulder time. Be interested. Don't ignore us when we finally do open up, which we will open up at some point. Mm-hmm. And sometimes you need to just encourage them to spend time alone. And I know wives that you want, when they get home, for example, when you get home in the evening, you're ready for them to take the kids. You're ready for them to bathe the kids. You're ready for them to put the kids down because you need a break. And so, yes, that is right. That is true. All of that is true. But they also need to feel like that you're giving them a break sometimes too. And I know you say, well, I always give them a break. And yeah, I know.
I sometimes encourage them to go do guy things.
Yeah, you do. Now, some guys take advantage of that. That's not right either. But sometimes after we get married,
yeah, they never get a chance to do guy
that's
things
it.
anymore.
We have work and then come home and responsibilities at home. And I know
so when
that's
there's an
what you have
activity
to.
For the guys, encourage them to go. Don't just say there's a guy's thing.
Yeah.
Encourage them to go. They need that time. They need that time with their buddies where they can just be in their little box and they don't talk to each other. I don't know what they do. But
We're
to
fine.
have fun,
We're fun. If you'd see a video of us hanging out with buddies sometimes, not saying anything, you'd be highly amused. I mean, when we get off the phone with whomever, our mother, our parents, whomever, and you ask what we talked about, and we're like, I don't know, nothing really. It's like, well, you spent a long time for nothing. It's like.
And then sometimes you can ask them, instead of always doing something, for the house, a house project or something like that, what's something fun that he likes to do that you can join him in?
Yeah.
Just something like that. And that tells him, he's still my guy. He's not just a
That's
dad.
what he wants to know.
He just wants to know.
Because as you start doing that, he'll start acting more like he did back when he was fun. But then he'll have more energy and he'll take greater interest in you. This is where you get into that healthy cycle.
That break that.
We're still young, aren't we? We are. I mean, I know
we can still have fun. We don't have
I know we're a married couple now, but we still we have fun, right? So anyway, okay. Well, I won't, we didn't get very far this week. A lot of elaboration there. Sorry about that.
You told me to sit up here.
I did. So, so here's what I want you to do. Let's see let's see how we want to do our break-offs this evening.
How about this morning? It is 10.
How about this morning too? I've been here since personnel committee at 7 o'clock this morning. It's been a long day. So anyway.
Someone set up that meeting.
I don't have one tonight though. Let's see. How about let's do. If y'all allow me to kind of mess with you. Some of you don't have your spouse today. Women and one guy there. We have a few women who don't. One guy.
Okay, so the girls who don't have theirs get together back there.
Go back in the back corner, and then otherwise pair up as a husband and wife.
And then
And
we'll stick Marty on.
Jeremy, you can come up with your own stuff. Okay?
Jeremy, you can come up and hang out with Marty.
So
okay?
here's the one question I just want you to deal with your spouse. So I want you to prompt the question to giving your spouse permission to talk. So wives, I want you to ask the question like, what's one thing that I could do with you that you would enjoy? Typically that's shoulder to shoulder time. And here's the tough part is that oftentimes guys don't even know. You may have to help answer the question.
It
So
may
you
have
to
been a
think
while
back.
for them to have been asked, what's something fun?
What's something fun you could do that kind of feeds that shoulder to shoulder time? And then husbands, ask your wife. Oh, we got a lot we can ask how we're doing on this thing. Give me one. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, how fun am I to be around these days? Don't do that. That would be depressing.
We don't want to.
Oh, you don't want to know that. Let's see. What makes you feel good? What kind of acts of affection without having sex makes you feel close to me? Is that a good one? No. That's better? Do you have a better one? Top
No,
ten?
that's the first one you said.
Oh, yeah, I know that. No. Yeah, just do that. Like what can I do just in the course of the day? Husbands, ask your wife, what can I do just in the course of the day that would help us to be on the same page where you'd feel close to me?
When I got home.
Yeah, when I got home or at the end of the day.
Or when work is finished, if you work out of the house.
Yeah. Okay, are y'all okay with that? Okay, take that.
Hey,
And
look
we're-
into each other's eyes.
Yeah, but when you ask your husband, you gotta sit like this.
You have to sit like that.
Okay, what do you think, husband? Okay, let's do that, and then and so we won't break off from there. We're just gonna do a couple of time. Again, wives, you're by yourself. Go back and join Ms. West back there, and we'll do that. And then then finish up about 1:45 or something. Okay. All right, ready, set, break.